All right. Question that comes in here from Mankato. What, if anything, will the legislature do during this session to protect our schools from the presence of guns? Not that it's a hot topic. It's a huge topic, as we have known nationwide. But is there anything moving right now that would somehow change the ability of schools to regulate or change the abilities of individuals to make sure they're not getting it into the hands of somebody who doesn't qualify to have a gun? Now, anybody stepping in there?
So are we talking gun control or school safety here?
Well, I think it's a crossover myself.
Okay.
I think you're talking two issues, but we've seen the nationwide situations that have been devastating, and they happen in schools. So we've got both elements.
I think the thing that's moving in the House deals more with school safety. I just heard this afternoon some changes to the long-term school maintenance levy to allow schools to divert some of those funds for issues such as making secure entryways, things like that in schools, and also adding some levy money in terms of the school safety account. So there is some funding being allocated, if the bills pass, of course, to assist our schools with making them safer for our kids that go there every day.
All right. Any others want to jump in on that one?
I go back many years when we dealt with gun safety back when Warren Spanis was Attorney General, and that dealt primarily with handguns. We did a partial statute, if you will, dealing with background checks. And so there are several in the legislature that would like to expand the background checks to include private gun sales, gun shows, and that kind of thing. There was a hearing on that issue in the House, and the bill was laid over. Now, whether that will be revived yet or not, I'm not sure. I happen to be a co-sponsor of the bill, quite frankly. So I think gun safety is a very important issue. When we talk about background checks, a huge percentage of the population, whether they're metropolitan or rural, support background checks. And yet it's been very difficult to move it forward in the legislature.
One other issue that's being addressed on that front kind of goes along with the school safety, I guess, is also having, besides having greater security in the schools and locks and things like that, also having more counselors to deal with, those who are struggling with mental illness. And I think that, too, is something that's getting a lot more attention now as a result of the tragic violence that's occurred in other schools across the country.
Senator Johnson?
And that's interesting because just today actually I had a superintendent from Little Falls in my office, and then I've talked to several up northwest Minnesota. And we talk about, bulletproof glass and SOR or SROs and individuals like that. And what they say over and over again is, well, that's great. We appreciate you doing that, investing in that. But we need those mental health counselors in school. We have such a deficit for mental health. And really when you see the backgrounds of a lot of these children that are coming to school that have these certain problems, boy, if the family's not there for them, we need to have somebody that will address some of these problems. And building a community within the school, whether that's counselors or figuring out a way to do that within the school, I think is pretty critical to help stem some of the violence that's happening in our schools, and to be able to really take care of those situations before anything happens, before you need the bulletproof glass or the armed guard in there. Let's build a community within our school that people feel supported. Even no matter what happens at home, let's let the school be a place that they can come to and maybe discuss their problems. So